Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Man, I feel like this is we're just being fed news and happenings and everything through a freaking fire hose, and I love it because I hope you guys are here to chat about it today. Light up the comments. We're going to be talking Bucs, college football, coaches being introed all over the country, winning press conferences, some losing press conferences. Interesting stuff going on in college football. The Bucs are on a comeback with their health. Yay. That's great. The Lightning are on a freaking roll of a lifetime. So we got tons of stuff to get to that. The most embarrassing kicking moment in history happened last night, I think. Garrow, your premium notwithstanding. So
that was in a Super Bowl, though, too.
Yeah, exactly. Tim Ham is with us. IndyCar Tim, how are you, partner?
I am doing better today than I have done in a week because pulling the curtain back, as I often do on this show, I got the catheter yanked out yesterday.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Woo! Woo! I can have sex again, JP.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
I mean,
thank you for that.
Not with someone else, but
yeah. So I was gonna ask you if you were feeling better. So it's good to know.
Yes.
I am dreading the outcome of our bet that I clearly lost on Saturday. And
the Aggies had to win something on Saturday because they sure couldn't win a football game.
I'm going to have the coach of Florida State University, Luke Laux, with that performance that they put on, he should be doing the conditioning instead of me.
Wow.
That was freaking ugly. That was ugly. Oh, I got to send you a little video that Ashley made. I dragged her to the FSU game, a basketball game.
Yeah,
we went to a little pregame party beforehand. It was great. Oh, we're going to go see our new basketball coach, new basketball team. Luke was on the show on Friday.
Yep.
It was really good. It was fun. We had our little wager.
He was all stoked too, man. He was ready to go.
Yeah, whichever team won, the other one had to do the conditioning drills, the Florida State conditioning drills. And, that'll be me. 19-3 was the score. 19.
Yeah. That's a good start.
27-6, I believe it was at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Good God. Florida State was awful at basketball too. Texas A&M.
What happened?
It was ugly. Sometimes you go into, it was kind of a weird setup. Let me, cue the excuse making for the Florida State Seminoles. Here we go. I don't know. It was a different atmosphere. Texas A&M certainly figured out how to shoot on the rims, but it was kind of like behind the, normally there's stands and everything right behind the baskets. There was these huge wide opening. I don't know, whatever. They sucked. That's what happened.
Just for all the folks that didn't see the game, I'm putting the score up on the screen.
28% from the field, 28%, 22% from three, and shot 41 3-pointers. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to shoot threes. They're going to shoot threes and a ton of them. They're going to run up and down the court. They're going to try to press you and steals and everything, but it was freaking ugly.
52-24 at the half, JP. 95-59 was your final.
Good God. Just horrible. Horrible. No, this is a team that had to lead against Florida at Florida. But yeah, they were awful. I think they played Georgia tonight. A 7-1 Georgia team. That could be ugly, but who cares about basketball right now? So not only did I endure that, and then the football game on Saturday, FSU Florida, and where FSU was completely non-competitive. Not only do you lose to a 3-8 Gator team, but you have a running back run 32 times for 266 yards and just bitch slap you. And you give no effort whatsoever to do anything about it. I mean, the lack of pride, the lack of physicality, my two favorite teams to watch, the Bucs and the Noles, like the level of physicality defensively on both of those teams, like doesn't even equal up. Like if you're on a volume knob, you might get to a 1.5 soft. soft. Watching the all-22 last night of the Buccaneers, it's just soft. They're a very soft defense. They don't intimidate anyone. We were talking about this yesterday. Like, I'm trying to remember. Anton Winfield had a nice physical tackle at the end of a run, end of about an 9-yard run. He kind of planted one of the running backs. After that, I don't think there was one hit in the game that I would go, ooh, that's physical. Like that shot on Jackson Dart last night by Ellis. Woohoo!
That was a football hit, JP, that we don't often see anymore in football.
And no flags.
That was the best part of it, dude. It was 100% legal. You had almost the benches clearing on a legal hit. I loved it. I loved every part of that.
Yeah.
And I love Jackson Dart. And you know what? That is all on him for staying in bounds. And they talked about it on the broadcast that he has been told, if you're going to stay in bounds, you're going to get drilled.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, man. That's football. I loved that so much.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a shot. But let's be honest. If that's Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, well, first of all, Brady would definitely get out of bounds. But if that was Mahomes, and Mahomes does this all the time, by the way.
Yep.
Mahomes does it all the time. He takes that extra yard, just like Jackson Dart was trying to do. But everybody in the league knows you don't touch Patrick Mahomes. Jackson Dart, fair game. Jason.
See, I think this year, Mahomes is one of the reasons they're emphasizing that. And for those that don't know, they talked about it on the broadcast. Jackson Dart was straddling the sideline, and most quarterbacks will just lean and go out of bounds before they get hit. Jackson Dart did not, and he got absolutely slobber knocked. It knocked him on his head, off his feet, landed upside down, out of bounds. It was amazing. But Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys that does that, but he'll, at the last second, get out of bounds, and he usually draws up a hit and draws a penalty. Well, the league has come down and said, you guys can't do that. You have got to get out of bounds faster. We're going to stop throwing that flag.
Yeah, good.
Because the defender has nowhere to go.
That's right. Absolutely, 100%.
And that's how it should be.
It was almost a Scott Brantley, Eric Kipple hit. Not quite to that level. Not quite to that level, but it was close. It was close.
You ever see the Ron Jaworski hit?
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a good one. That'll scramble your eggs.
Almost killed him.
I
thought he was dead.
No. So, all right, to set up the show, Scott Reynolds is going to join us at 10:30. Pewter Report. We'll go over this scintillating Bucs Cardinals win. I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching the all-22 last night. I have thoughts on this team.
Wow. And
they kind of reinforce a lot of what I said yesterday, but yeah, I'm kind of in a nasty mood today, Timmy.
I can tell. I love it.
Kind of in a little nasty mood, and I'm not giving much deference today. I'm going to probably rip a few people. I love it. And hopefully you guys will rip me, because that's happened a lot recently.
College football will do that to you.
I deserve it. I must admit. So where should we begin? Where should we begin? Buccaneers, college football. Let's hit the Bucs first.
Let's hit the Bucs. Yeah, local. Live and local.
Let's hit it first, quick, and then because we're going to spend a lot of time with Scott Reynolds on that. By the way, Corey Long, long-time college football, high school recruiting guy here in the state of Florida, super knowledgeable about all the different programs here and college football recruiting in the state of Florida, will join us in studio for an hour. We're going to talk a lot of college football in the second hour. So get ready for that and take your comments and thoughts. All right, so Buccaneers, good news yesterday. Todd Bowles was telling us what we'd heard from a couple of outlets, that Jalen McMillan is cleared to practice and ready to come back. Doesn't mean he'll come back immediately, but he's cleared to practice and should be back in the next couple of weeks. Mike Evans as well, getting ready to come back in December. What month is it? It's December. And nice to have a couple of Christmas gifts in Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan and Kalijah Cansey. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, they're going to – these are guys who are game changers. These guys are game changers. Not so much J-Mac, although he played very good in the end of last season with 8 touchdowns, I think, in the final 8 games. Really, really good. And Mike Evans changes the entire way teams have to play the Bucs. And Emeka Ibuka was so much more productive when Mike Evans was on the field. There's a reason for that, because Mike takes all the double teams, and that leaves the second or third best corner to try and cover Ibuka and can't do it. And Godwin, boy, I was pleasantly surprised by it. By the way, Mr. King, where are you with this morning? Who said no, Bucky and Godwin ain't coming back? Really? Really?
I still want to know who your sources were. if indeed you had sources.
His sources were the most other negative person, Bucs basement.
Yeah.
So those guys, and obviously paying dividends immediately, especially Bucky and Godwin had a really, really good game, running through tackles with a burst that I didn't expect. I'm going to be honest with you. He a couple of plays, he's running away from guys. I did not expect that. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect to see that for quite some time. And I didn't expect to see him running through tackles, which he did a couple of times. That's the old Chris Godwin. And I'm frankly shocked to see that in the first game back. I was talking to Tristan Wirfs after the game, and he was asked about Godwin and some of these guys rehabbing, and he obviously had to sit out some games and rehab as well. And he was like, you guys have no idea how much this sucks. I can't even believe that Chris Godwin has done this twice. Long rehabs. And we don't talk enough about that. It is absolute hell. And listen, these guys are well compensated. It's their job to get better. So that's all you got to do. It's all you got to worry about. I get that. But Lord, it is hard, freaking isolating, back-breaking, painful ass work. And it takes a lot of commitment to want to do it, especially when you're as rich as these guys are. And obviously, and it's a reason why they gave Godwin the contract, because they know he was going to do everything he possibly could to get back. And Lord, I just hope that he can get a nice run here without getting injured. He deserves it. So great to have him back. And listen, when he's right, he's a top 10 receiver in this league. And the blocking, what he allows you to do on third down. Did you forget how much Baker went to him on third down? Like all the freaking time. He's the guy that moves the chains and in the red zone. And Mike obviously is your red zone guy. These and the Bucs have struggled in the red zone.
It'd be amazing if you had a tight end that could catch the ball.
Yeah. And of course, Godwin did drop a touchdown pass.
It's first game back. It's fine.
Yeah. And there was, it's a tight window. Guy flashed in front of him, so there was a little, extenuating circumstances. But
Godwin, yeah.
Good to have Bucky back, and boy, he makes such a difference. Boy, watching the All-22, and there's just nothing there. By the way, I just have to say this: Dan Feeney, the right guard, it's comical, bro. It is comical how bad this dude is. Like, I wanted to string together a ton of his plays to the Calliope music, because it gets to the point, like, if I know that, when Baker gets hit because this guy's whiffing blocks, it's not funny. Yeah, it's Benny Hill, baby. When he pulls, it's like, woof. He pulls, and there's this guy in the hole, and he just whiffs. He just misses guys completely. Gets knocked on his ass. On the play that Bucky scored on the outside, I think it might have been one that was called back, or was it the one? I forget which one it was. But he gets submarined, like just knocked on his, just right on his ass. It's comical how bad this dude is. He is, and I can't, like, with Bredesen back, they got to move Michael Jordan to right guard. This guy is awful. But anyway, I digress. But there were some other really good things you saw. I thought Yaya Diaby had a really, really good day. A really, really good day. But the one thing that really freaking stands out to me, and this is, something that has been ongoing, is when the Bucs score. Like, I'm trying to go back to the my notes here. When the Bucs scored to go up 2-2, okay, and it happened twice in the game. Both times, the the Cardinals came back and scored their touchdown drives. They answered our 2-score lead with touchdown drives. And when I tell you those drives were so easy against this defense, it's almost, again, comical to watch. It's just one same defensive call after another. Rush 4, fall back in zone, and they just eat you alive. Wide open receivers, no pressure whatsoever, right down the field. And here's the weird part. When Bowles did blitz, when he sent Servassier or Levante up the middle, it worked almost every single time. Almost every single time. Something good happened defensively. But yet, for the entire length of the drive in the fourth quarter, you just sat back and let them go right down the field. 9 plays, 74 yards, 4 minutes, never had a third down. Never even needed a third down because you're averaging 6.3 yards per play for the game. On that drive, I think it was more like 7 yards per play, maybe 8. It's comical. It's just like, hey, here we go. As soon as we get a 2-score lead, rush 4, and at times they were getting pressure rushing 4, but not consistent. I would say maybe 10% of the time. The other times, Brissett's back there padding the ball, waiting for McBride to come open, wide open, easy throw, touchdown, 25 yards, dump it down to Bam, another 20 yards, another 12 yards. Just easy, like easy as you can possibly get. Wide open receivers, no pressure, quarterback standing in the pocket, delivering the ball like a freaking practice. But as soon as you blitz, something good happens. Now, I understand you can't blitz every play, but good Lord. On a 9-play drive, you're just going to sit there and take it? It's unbelievable. And this is why the Bucs don't blow anybody out. As soon as they get a 2-score lead, the offense goes into deep freeze. Baker's pulling balls down when guys are wide freaking open on third down. The defense is completely passive when they get two-score lead. And it just, boom, they're right down the field. When they're blitzing and running these different fronts, they can't move the ball. But as soon as you get a 2-score lead, oh, there we go. We're good. We're good. Back it up. Right down the field. Right down the field. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening to watch. And I don't know where, Todd Bowles early in the year was much more aggressive offensively and defensively. And that's since the bye, that seems to have just gone away. And they better get some fire back in them. I talked a little bit about this yesterday, and when you go, Simeon was into the Ring of Honor, and I know you can't compare the 2002 defense to the 2025 defense in terms of talent. I get it. You can't. It takes no effort to play hard. I mean, I'm sorry. It takes no talent to play hard. Sorry. It takes no talent. You don't need 5 Hall of Famers to play hard. You don't need that. You don't need Rondé Barber and John Lynch. And you don't need all those guys and Sapp and Brooks and all those guys to come up and smack somebody in the face. You just got to want it. You want to play hard. You want to play physical. And, yeah, you got to have the right guys. Servassier Dennis is getting run over by kick returners. He's playing special teams, and the kick returner, I was, and the guy returns, he makes the tackle, and the guy falls forward for 4 yards. You're a linebacker, bro. It's 147. I don't know what he is, but he's a kick returner. You got a free shot, and you're getting run over. And you want to talk about if an offensive tackle even gets near Servassier Dennis, he's got no shot. Can't get off a block. Can't get off a block. Totally non-physical. At times, doesn't even look like you're trying to get off the block. And I see that with a lot of guys on this defense. Either they're not really good, or they're just really easily blocked. And to me, when I turn on a tape and I see a good defense, you can't block those guys. Yeah, they're probably bigger and stronger. That would be nice. Let's work on that. But more than that, it's just a will and a want to. Like, I'm coming across your face, Graham Barton, even though I'm in the gap to your left and you're trying to, you've got an angle on me. I'm just going to cross your face and throw you down and tackle the ball carrier. We're not physical, with the exception of maybe Tristan Wirfs and Bredesen at times. We are not physical. And Gedeke. I'll give you Gedeke too. But the interior of this offensive line is soft. And thank God we got Bredesen back. But, Graham Barton, I don't know what's happened to Graham Barton, but he's just being thrown around like a rag doll at times. This team is, especially defensively, just soft. And it's hard to watch. I know they only gave up 17 points. They got a couple of turnovers. I'm going to do a shout out to Logan Hall on that cause fumble. He getting double teamed and is on his knees and reaches out and punches the ball out. It's a hell of a play. It's a huge play. Nullified at least 3 points, maybe 7. Hell of a play. Yaya had on that sack that he got where he ran down Brissett. He was double teamed, busted through the middle, never quit, ran his ass down while on the backside Hassan Reddick was kind of watching. It just there is no intensity to this defense, none. You don't see guys flying around. You don't see big hits. It's rare. And in the most embarrassing moment of the day, when they throw a flat pass to Bam Knight, I think it was Bam or Mike Maven Carter in the flat, and Parrish comes up and hits him, and you got 2 other guys coming. Now this is a perfect opportunity for the second guy to come in and punch the ball, get it out, and the third guy to at least tackle him. And what did the clown show do? Parrish falls to his knees. Here comes Zion McCullum throwing his shoulder and absolutely not wrapping up anybody. And here comes Servassier Dennis, the second guy that doesn't wrap up. Brings no arms whatsoever. 2 guys just going in with a shoulder pad. NFL football. NFL football. Nobody punching at the ball. Nobody wrapping up in a critical play. 3rd down. I mean, just you look at the scoreboard and you go, 17 points. Boy, this defense gave up 400-plus yards to the Cardinals. And it was easy. And they're lucky to win. Missed field goal. You got a couple. You forced the turnover. Yeah. It wasn't. Listen, they won the game. And I don't, and of course, so many people say, it's the NFL, you win the game, stop bitching. Well, that's not the way we do it around here. It's about the process. It's then more than the outcome. What is your process? You're soft defensively. You get up 2 scores. You go conservative. Doesn't work in this league. Teams are too good. You're lucky to win. They get, and listen, I thought Riley Dixon had a great game. Finally, the punter did something. And, you pinned him in deep and you got off the field at the end with the 4th down. And what happened? You finally blitzed. You blitzed and you forced 2 incompletions. Thank you. And maybe he was just waiting for that particular moment. My feeling is when you're up 2 scores, blitz more. Because I got news for you. Every time you go into this rush 4, cover 2, it's an instant touchdown. Within 4 minutes, they're down the field. So why not, if they're going to score anyway, why not get after their ass? Maybe you might stop them. So, I mean, I hate to be negative about after a win, but it's just there's nothing impressive about this defense. And when you think about how we used to play defense around here, this is an embarrassment. And Todd Bowles should be embarrassed by this defense, especially since the bye. Yeah, you got to win. Yeah. You got to win. But this was it's terrible.
You know what I see, JP? Of course, the 2 teams that I watch the absolute most of in the NFL are the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. And do you remember early in the season how absolutely dreadful the Cowboys defense was?
Oh, my God.
How historically bad it was. You had guys that looked like they didn't know how to play defense, but you knew that they knew how to play defense, so that you knew there was something wrong here. And the Cowboys pinpointed that Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, was trying to run a scheme that the players couldn't run. They physically and mentally could not carry out their individual duties from play to play, and that's what you got as a group, is what we saw early in the season. Now, they've obviously added some pieces too, but even before they added the pieces, they resolved a lot of that by changing the scheme a little bit to fit the players. And credit Matt Eberflus for that. What I'm seeing on the Bucs defense now, since the bye that you just described, is players who either don't believe in the scheme or don't understand their assignments.
Yeah.
And that's
playing tentatively.
Yeah, that's almost more alarming than, guys just playing poorly.
Yeah.
If they don't know what they're supposed to be doing and they're questioning their assignments from play to play. Now, poor tackling is just poor tackling, right? Like
7 years into the bowl system.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what has changed? Has there been something that changed schematically on defense for these guys, or are they just sick of listening to Todd Bowles' voice and don't give a crap anymore?
Well, listen, there's a narrative and a feeling around the league that Todd Bowles runs a very complicated defense. And I think that's true. And it can be, and a lot of times it's used to praise him. Oh, he's a genius. He's so multiple. You never know where the blitzes are coming from, blah, 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 which is true. But at some point, it's not working. The numbers are the numbers. It ain't working. And if you look over the life of his defenses here from a numeric standpoint, they haven't been good. They've not been good. A lot of 29th ranked pass defenses because it's too freaking complicated. And too many, I don't care what you say. It was last year, I think the Bucs were far and away the worst team in coverage in football. Like their average margin of separation was like 4 yards. I mean, it's just insane. Those numbers telling you exactly what your eye test tells you on a weekly basis. Either these guys are terrible at covering or they're confused. They don't know where they could be. They're the worst zone team I've ever seen in my life. None of them know how to play zone defense at all. They go to a zone and then they just stand there. They don't go to match up with a player as he enters the zone. They just stand there and let guys catch footballs time and time again. The creases of the defense are just so obvious and predictable. And when you have a quarterback that can sit in the pocket when you can't get pressure with 4, just waiting for these routes to develop, these zone beaters where they're easy reads, where you flood a zone, it's easy. And the numbers suggest that it is.
Yeah.
And when you play against the bad teams, late in the game, boy, there were some really curious throws by Jacoby Brissett. Like guys were wide open. He was going to covered guys. The only time he missed is when we sent 5 guys, and it worked almost every single time. But you didn't do it. I mean, it's like, well, you can't do it all the time. Well, if it's working every freaking time, why not do it? They can't stop it, even if they know it's coming. And you got some really talented blitzers on this team. He's got to let it loose, man. But he's scarred. He's scarred from, they get beat on the blitz at times. They do. But you know what? I'd rather get beat on the blitz than giving up these 5-minute, 4-minute, 7, 9 play, 6 play, 75-yard drives that are just lay down. Lay down.
Yeah.
Make them earn it. Make him earn it. And I'm going to tell you what, he missed a bunch of throws. There were wide open guys on wheel routes, deep routes, and Brissett just missed them. Didn't see them. It could have been so much worse. All right, we'll talk more Bucs with Scotty when he gets up here. We're going to take we got a lot of USF stuff we're going to get to. Alex Golish introduced at Auburn. We'll play some of that. Man, when they go with the new boyfriend or new girlfriend, when they're just
thing's a mess, JP.
Jilted lovers everywhere. It's just
he's an absolute mess.
Awful. Fans getting screwed right and left.
Players getting screwed.
Players getting screwed. Man. Oh, We'll get to all of it. All right, we're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They're local, they are trusted, and they get results. If you're in an accident, you got to give them a call. They're small enough to make you a huge priority, but big enough to take on the big insurance companies and other law firms, and they don't want to see Scott Jeeves coming. He is a terrific attorney. JeevesLawGroup.com, not attorney spokesman, offices Tampa and St. Pete. And the great folks at Genesis of Tampa. It's December. You want to buy a car for Christmas, get somebody a beautiful Genesis GV70 or 80. Great deals going on right now. Great lease deals happening, and a great local company. Again, we love to support those local companies and keep it local for the holidays. Genesis of Tampa is one of those great companies. Just gave away 90 turkeys to Thanksgiving, the families around the area. So go see them over there. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3 with Scott Reynolds. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience Advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. The holidays are the best time to get engaged, kids, because all of the family is all together. And at the Gold and Diamond Source, they have thousands of diamonds to choose from in their jewelry wonderland. Looking for a gift that says forever? Find stunning engagement rings, diamond earrings, diamond bracelets, the most stylish gold fashion, and plenty for men and their new men's and watch department. There's something for everyone on your list. So don't settle for anything less than perfection, folks. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. If you're getting engaged, you got to go over there. They make it so easy for you. I did it. Nick did it. if Timm were only a customer, they'd never have to.
Ain't happening.
Yeah. But the Golden Diamond Source is where
I'll get something for me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road. I was there this morning for their Giving Tuesday event for Hands Across the Bay. Yeah, I went over there to say hello, and you came too. Yeah, 3800 Overton Road. It's Giving Tuesday. Go up. They got a great raffle going on. They got food, coffee. I had a really nice blueberry muffin. So go on over there, grab some food, get in the raffle, and support Hands Across the Bay, which is an amazing charity that helps women who have been in abusive relationships. And they do a great job over there. So please head on over and tell them JP sent you. Bring money.
I have a question, JP.
Yes, sir.
Hands Across the Bay.
Yes, sir.
Did you show up and have to hold hands with strangers while you were there?
No, but I would have.
With strangers?
I would hold, yes.
Without gloves?
In a show of unity. I would indeed.
Man, you're brave.
We need Hands Across the Bay, actually. We need more unity in the community. Yeah.
I get it. I'm all for the cause, but
let's ask Scott Reynolds.
Stranger.
Let's ask the great Scott Reynolds how he handles.
Would Scott
you hold hands with strangers?
Depends on the occasion.
Yeah, if you're at a let's say you're at a prayer meeting or something at a church.
Sure, absolutely.
Everybody, you reach across
prayer,
the aisle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that, boys. Y'all are braver than me.
No, never. Yeah, it's not. They have this thing called soap.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can sanitizer. Yeah, it's no big.
Yeah, you think I'm a crazy person? I carry that around with me.
No, but they have it in most public restrooms.
They have it everywhere now.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Good Lord. How are you, partner?
I'm doing pretty good. Buccaneer fans, I think, are happier than they have been in a while. I don't know if they're thrilled by what happened on Sunday. I think they would have been thrilled. I've spent the last kind of not 48 hours yet, but we're getting close to it since the win. And I think if a couple things had happened, Buc fans would be feeling a lot better. If the final score was 17-3 or 20-10, right, where it was a double-digit win over a 3-win team, I think that would have placated a lot of Buccaneer fans and I think made them happier. I think everyone's happy with the win. Some of it was like they finally won, more like a relief than a joyful occasion. But also, too, if the Panthers had done what they were supposed to do and lose to the Rams, I think Tampa Bay fans will be feeling a lot better now, a game and a half ahead of Carolina. But the fact that the Panthers got a win over the team that just dismantled the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football, that's the double whammy that I think has Bucs fans gripping about this and gripping about they beat a 3-win team. But, the book on the Cardinals, the final score played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. Actually, I thought the Bucs were going to win by 4 because I had the point spread. I had 3.5, and I was really disappointed to see them give up that last touchdown. Cost me some money, but at
least the defense fought hard for that last touchdown.
They did, and they made it easy rather than super easy. So I guess we can say that, right?
I just went on this rant about every time the Bucs got up 2 scores in this game and just about every game, they go to this soft ass rush 4, drop 7, play soft zone defense, and it's 7 plays, 75 yards.
Pretty easy.
Touchdown. Right down the field, 12, 15, 10. And the second time that made it 20-17. Yeah. Never even had a third down in the drive.
Right. Yeah. That final drive where the Cardinals scored the Trey McBride touchdown. And I kind of called it in the press box. I don't know if you heard me. You're sitting a couple seats down. But I just said, ooh, Tyke, you better make a play here, and he didn't. And it was a touchdown for Trey McBride. Yeah. Really good player. Really phenomenal tight end. But let me just add a little bit of perspective here. I know nobody wants to hear it, but I'm going to do it anyways.
All right.
The Buccaneers defense didn't play as bad as you think, right? They allowed that last touchdown, which didn't sit well with anybody. I get that. It was a closer game than it should have been, but they did get 2 4th-down stops. And they on the final drive, they didn't allow the Cardinals outside of the shadow of their own end zone. So that was a quick stop. It wasn't like in a midfield or they crossed midfield and finally got a stop. That was like
a series all game.
That was a shut the door, boom, and they're done. They did that twice on 4th down. They did come away with 2 turnovers. They won the turnover battle, which was always critical for the Buccaneers this season. They're 0-2 in games they've lost the turnover battle. I want to say they're 5-2 in games they've won it, and they're 2-1 in neutral situations. So usually the Bucs win the turnover battle, they win the game, and that's kind of how they are this year, and that's good. They're +9, which is the second best number in the NFL behind Chicago, which is +17.
17, yeah.
So those are some positives. Also, too, holding the Cardinals to 17 points, that is 5.5 points below Arizona's scoring average. So really, outside of that final touchdown, which kind of irked you, not just you, but everybody, and the fact that maybe if the Buccaneers had used that final drive to just go down there, kick a field goal, they win by 6, or score a touchdown, they win by 10. People feel better about that. But if you look at what Tampa Bay has done over the entire season, and I know people are ripping Bowles and saying, he needs to give up play calling duties and all this kind of stuff. But by and large, when you look at what Tampa Bay has done in terms of holding opponents to a reasonable score, and in the modern day, if you hold an opponent to 20 points or less, that's really good, and you're probably going to win the game. So let's just go through this real quick. They allowed 20 to Atlanta, got the win. They allowed 19 to Houston and got the win. The Jets scored 27, but 7 of that came on a blocked field goal, so they really held the Jets to 20, and they got the win. They allowed 24 against the Eagles because there was a blocked punt for a touchdown, so we're not going to count that, but they lost that game. But they should have won outside of that because they scored 25. The Seattle game was a crap-to-bed game. They gave up 35. They're lucky to win with 38-35. They held the Niners to 19 points and won. They gave up 24 to the Lions, and they lost that game for sure. They allowed the Saints to score 3, and, of course, they won that game. And then more recently, what you're looking at is 28 points to the Patriots, and they lost 44.
Which could have been 42 if they wanted it. All day long. They did whatever.
But they didn't get it. 44 to the Bills, and they lost. 34 to the Rams. Technically 27 because 7 of that was courtesy of Kate Otten.
You're going to look at the Rams score and say 27. Scott, come on now. They totally took their foot off the gas in this second half.
But that's on the Rams. That's not on the Bucs. That's on the Rams. That's not on the Bucs.
We're evaluating the defense here.
Okay, but
defense? You turn.
How much do you want to give him, JP? How much do you want to give him? Just give me a number. How much? 40 points?
The Rams?
Yeah,
70. They could have scored 70.
They didn't have time to score 70. Okay, that would have been Kate Otten giving the ball away 4 more times on pick sixes. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to go 45 for you. Let's go 45. 45. So 45, 44, and 28. That is an average, and I'm really bad at math here, but let's just say it's an average of 40 points per game. Yeah. So Todd Bowles' defense held the Cardinals to 17. That's half of what they were allowing in previous weeks. So all I'm saying is I think the storm is over. I'm not saying that we're going to see rainbows necessarily, but I think the clouds are going away, and we're looking at the Saints coming up. I don't see them scoring, more than 23 points, maybe.
It's an average of 39, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was close. I was very close. Damn, I'm proud of myself.
Nice job.
That's good.
Should be. Yeah.
Nice job.
But you know what I'm saying? And then you got the Falcons. In other words, what I'm saying is I think Todd Bowles' defense is turning a corner. And I think it's getting back to where it was at the beginning of the season, which is holding opponents to around 20 points or less. And if they can do that, there's no reason why this offense, with Chris Godwin playing the way he did, with Bucky playing the way he did, with a healthier Baker Mayfield, with Jalen and Mike, on deck coming back, this offense should be averaging somewhere between 24 to 30 points per game every week out.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you have a Todd Bowles defense that is holding opponents around 20 points per game and an offense scoring 24 points or more, it should be win, 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 win all the way through the rest of the season here. We'll see what happens, but I'm just saying we have to look at the entire season, not just the 3 weeks that were bad, to make our conclusions. Because now listen, if this Bucs defense had given up 27 to Arizona and won 30-27, I wouldn't be opening my mouth about the defense right now. But the fact that they held them to 17, got 2 takeaways, had a couple fourth down stops, held the Cardinals 5.5 points below their season average. That's not bad.
Yeah, I guess what go ahead, Timmy.
No, and I was going to say, when you're looking at these Cardinals, I know they're kind of a different team than they were early in the season. And I think they're honestly a better team with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But they've played some really good teams very closely this year.
No doubt.
I mean, they lost to Jacksonville by 3, right? You got blown out by San Francisco and Seattle. You lost to the Packers, who I think is a good team, by 4. You lost to the Colts when they were still good by 4.
Yep. You lost to Seattle by 3. You lost to the 49ers by 1. Yeah.
By 1. Yeah. So this is this isn't some slack team out there that you should have dominated like you did this. This is not the Saints.
Right.
All right. So yes, they made mistakes on defense, but they're not a horrible team.
They're 3-9, but they're 3-9.
Well, yeah, they're 3-9, but he outlined why they're 3-9 because they're not good in close games. They don't know how to finish. And to your point, you're going to say about Jacoby Brissett. You can look at the record, right? And usually quarterbacks are judged by the win-loss record. I'll just say this. In the last 3 games against the 49ers defense, which isn't bad, okay, Jacoby Brissett completed 82.5% of his passes 3 weeks ago for 452 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks against the 49ers. Against the Jaguars in an overtime loss, 27-24 in Arizona, he completed 67.4% of his passes for 317 yards and 1 touchdown. I know fans are like, oh my God, they gave up 301 yards to Jacoby Brissett. True. But so did the 49ers and so did the Jaguars, and both those teams are going to be in the playoffs. So Jacoby Brissett is actually that's a reasonable number for what he was able to do the last couple of weeks. That's kind of on par for what Brissett has gotten.
Well, I could just say this. When you look at the all 22, as I stayed up till 2 a.m. doing last night, and making all of these notes, and watching Zion McCollum just give up easy slant passes, watching 3 guys in the flat not even tackle Bam Knight, watching no pressure from a 4-man rush most of the time, watching wide open anytime a running back catches the ball in the flat, it's an easy 12, 14 yards. There's nobody there. There's McBride going down, finding the seams extremely easy. I'll tell you this about Jacoby Brissett. He missed a lot of throws, and there were wide open guys running everywhere.
And the Bucs missed a lot of sacks. I went back and watched. They should have had 6 sacks. I was pretty. I wasn't even generous. I mean,
but every time they blitzed, Scott, something good happened.
Yeah,
something almost every single time. So when you get a 2-score lead, why do you not blitz? Why do you not pressure?
I don't.
Why are you so effing terrified of getting beat on a cheapie that you don't play the defense that is actually effing working?
Zion McCollum
makes me crazy.
Zion McCollum. Yeah, I think that's why. Is because he doesn't trust 27.
But he's giving it up anyway.
Well,
I mean, it's like,
at least when you have a lead, if you're allowing a team to march down the field, what are they doing? They're running clock. And at some point in time, if you have a double-digit lead,
not a whole lot, 4 minutes.
Well, I know, but it's better than 40 seconds, and I think that's what Todd Bowles is thinking. And at the same time, too, he's hoping that Antoine Winfield Jr. makes a play like he did. Tyke Smith makes a play like he did. Right? You're hoping, and I mean, and this is not exclusive to Todd Bowles. This was go back to 1990s Tony Dungy, Monty Kiffin football. They wanted you to do a 10, 12-minute drive because at some point in time, you're going to self-destruct. You're going to have a turnover, and the Bucs will capitalize. But if you allow teams to score in 3 or 4 plays, your chances of getting that turnover significantly reduced because there's just not that many plays where that could happen. So in theory, what you're saying is completely right. I'm just saying in theory, Todd Bowles is also right. He's thinking, if we're going to give up a touchdown, I'd rather have them chew 4 minutes up and go 7 or 8 plays rather than, the quick catch and run over Zion's head or something for a 54-yard bomb.
You might also, force a turnover or get a sack that kills the drive. And we could argue about this all day long.
We're not arguing. You're preaching to the choir. I mean, I am a high blitz pressure guy on defense.
And I said this, watching Simeon down there. And listen, I'm not here to say that I want to see this defense look like 2002.
I'm going to answer your question right now. Yes, Simeon Rice would get a sack on Sunday. If you suited him up, yes. JP, I'm going to read your mind. Yes,
right now,
Simeon Rice would have had a sack on Sunday.
But I just hearkened back to those days when the place is going nuts. It's 3rd and 7. Simeon's dancing, and the quarterback knows I'm effed.
Yeah,
I'm already effed.
And the left tackle is crapping himself. The left tackle literally is like needs a bathroom break because he's got something knocking on the back door.
But it's not just that. I know they're not as talented.
Right.
It doesn't take any talent to play hard and physical. And these guys are so freaking soft. When's the last time you saw a big hit from one of these guys? I think Antoine had a nice tackle. Other than that.
Oh, no. I unfortunately, I saw Zion McCollum and Servassier Dennis going for a big hit on Bam Knight and bounce off. Yeah. So instead of wrapping up, they threw shoulders. So honestly, I would much rather well, no, they made contact. They just didn't wrap up. And so, you give any running back that has a pretty good center of gravity and balance, you need to wrap up. And I will say this, the silver lining in the Cardinals rushing for 95 yards, and even though that was a catch, we're using this as an example, the poor tackling. To me, this was a blessing in disguise. You'd rather have the teachable moment come in a win rather than a loss. And if this is the week where they got to refocus and say, dude, like our tackling was absolutely piss poor, and we should not have allowed the Cardinals to run for 95 yards and average 5 yards a carry. To me, this is go back to fundamentals. You bring out the tackling dummies again. You work on this in practice because you have a couple of games coming up where you're really going to have to tackle. The Atlanta Falcons game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. You better bring your big boy pants for that. The Carolina Panthers the next week with Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. You better bring your big boy pants for that. And then the Miami Dolphins, Devin Achane. He is a guy where if you don't get him down, he's gone.
Smoke.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Gig him is right. And the thing is now the Dolphins have a little bit of momentum. You looked a couple weeks ago, you think, oh boy, they're going to finish, easy peasy here. But that week 17 game, you don't want to lose at Carolina to where, you're going to fall behind a Carolina Panthers team and need that week 18 win at home to win the division. You'd love to avoid that if possible. But that week 17 game is a little bit of a trap game because it's right in between the Panthers games, right? And the Dolphins better have the Bucs' attention when the time comes because they're actually winning some games. And again, if the Buccaneers win or lose in Carolina, they're going to be looking ahead to the rematch, right? And if they win, hopefully they will have beaten the Saints and the Falcons. They've already wrapped up the division, so it's a little bit less dramatic. But I'm just saying, they better tackle exceptionally well. And I'm glad that they had a poor tackling effort and a loss to where maybe this is a teaching moment for Bowles that recaptures their attention and says, guys, stop with the shoulder throws. We're not throwing chicken wings here. We need to wrap up and tackle.
Yeah. All right. Another list of the all 22 standouts. And I thought it was a spectacular performance by one Dan Feeney. I don't think I've ever spectacular in a way
spectacularly bad.
Yeah. Honestly, fucking bro. And it's just not personal on him, but Lord, I was laughing, dude. I was like really like I was like, oh Jesus.
I said this on the podcast yesterday.
It's embarrassing.
We haven't seen the Luke and Luke show. We haven't seen the Lukes of Haggard, and I want to see that. I want to see Luke Haggard at right guard next to Luke Gedeke. Because I think Luke Haggard, he actually I think was pretty impressive against the 49ers.
Oh, he was great. I thought he played great. This guy though, man, he pulls and just totally whiffs guys, or the guy he's blocking is already crushed the running back. He's like 3 steps behind. His angles, he gets blown off the ball. I mean,
here's what coaches love experience, right? They love experience versus like unproven talent, and they lean on experience because they have this fantasy in the back of their mind that when it comes down to crunch time, this guy's not going to make the mistake, but. Like, again, I always use the term, you got to read the room. Dan Feeney was on the Bills practice squad. Yeah. Okay. It's like there's usually a career arc. It starts like this. You up and then you kind of crest and then you kind of come down. And like Dan Feeney's down here, like his career arc is on the way down. He went from being a starter, now he's like 30 something, early 30s, and he was on the Bills practice squad when the Bucs signed him. So that's kind of an indication that you're getting a guy on the way down. Now, is Luke Haggard any better? I don't know, but I'd like to find out. The only way you really find out is to give, it can't be worse. To give him some experience. So I don't know. I'm going to be.
It literally cannot be worse than what's on tape from these games. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
All right. So going forward, I just don't have a whole lot of confidence in this defense. And when Kancey comes back, it certainly does make it.
I do. I have some confidence in this defense. They're playing the Saints this week. This should be a better. This should be a better outcome. This should be a better outcome for this defense. Tyler Shuck has thrown, I think, 4 interceptions in 6 games, and is he better than Spencer Rattler? We'll see. But the one thing that concerns me about the Saints in general is, for whatever reason, this team plays better in Tampa than they do in New Orleans. I don't know why that is, but they play the Bucs better and harder in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium than they do at their own house in New Orleans. The Bucs have had more success in terms of scoring points, holding them down, getting takeaways and stuff in New Orleans amid all the voodoo than they do on their own turf. I mean, go back and look at in the Super Bowl season of 2020. Remember Drew Brees and the Saints came in and rolled the Bucs 38-3 on Sunday Night Football here. Todd Bowles is 6-1 all time against the Saints. And the Bucs have had complete mastery. The only time they've lost was back in 2023 when they had a chance to clinch the division that game. And Derek Carr came out and smoked them, and they won. So Bowles is undefeated against the Saints in New Orleans, but he does have one loss in Tampa. And remember that game last year, the season finale, the Mike Evans game, that was closer than it should have been.
Yeah.
And so that concerns me a little bit because for whatever reason, the Saints, I don't think it's just getting out of that stanky building, that they play in.
I don't think they ever got the Katrina smell out of the Superdome.
I don't know, but
Last time I was there, I can concur. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's just the stench of New Orleans, though, to be honest.
True. Yeah. I was going to say, you could walk down Bourbon Street and it's kind of the same stench.
It's the same stench.
It's fresh air in Florida and Tampa. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, as they go forward, and they get these guys back, obviously offensively, this is going to help out tremendously. I will have to disagree on the defense.
That's okay.
I want to see Kancey get back, and that'll certainly help. But
it will. Yeah. I'm more concerned about the Kirk Cousins versus Todd Bowles game in a couple of weeks. Plus, I mean, honestly, if I'm Brian Ford, I'm saying, gosh, you know what? Maybe it shouldn't be the creamsicle game because we always lose in the creamsicles. Maybe we should just fool the fans and trick everybody and just break out the 1976 throwbacks one more time and see if we can go 3-0 in those uniforms.
We're 2-0, right?
I know.
Why tempt fate?
Or maybe there's just enough Bucco Bruce mojo from those 2 early season wins that's going to carry over to the creamsicles. I don't know, but I will say this.
I'm with you on that, 100%.
If they lose in this game, and I'm going to piss off a lot of fans here, and I'm actually going to probably get some new fans too, because I think people are kind of split on this. If they lose Thursday night in 2 weeks in the creamsicle games, they need to just ban those uniforms. They just do. They've only won once in those in the throwback game. That was 2009 with Josh Freeman.
Oh, yeah. I've come to that conclusion a long time ago.
Yeah.
I would never want to see those again.
Yeah.
I think we can't win in them. There's something dubious about it. And that's the reason why Brady wouldn't wear them. He knew. The ultimate winner knew. He knew that I cannot don this jersey.
Going to retire.
Win a game.
Folks, I want to come back for one more year. Tampa's fun, but I'm not playing in those uniforms.
Somebody told him he didn't look good in orange. Somewhere along
I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't know if anybody's ever asked him, but we played every other season. We've played creamsicle, right?
Well, they went from like 2009 to 2012. They're supposed to have in 2013. That's when that concussion rule came in, where you're only allowed to have one helmet.
Right.
And then they lifted it in 2002, but Nike didn't have like enough orange material on hand to make the uniforms for that year, so it got delayed until 2023, and that's when they came back to life against the Lions in that loss. I think it was like 20-6 or something, 23-6.
Yeah,
and then it's been losses ever since. So I'm just saying, folks, if it happens again, I mean, we have to have an intervention here. We have to identify there's a problem and address it, because there's no way on paper the Bucs should lose to the Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. And if they do, the jerseys have to be a bit of a culprit. We can't let them off the hook anymore.
Burn them
or ban them. Either one. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. And if they win, I'll shut my mouth and say, go Creams, they go. But
they look
otherwise,
great in the stands. They look great in the stands. We love him.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. I mean, they won a couple games in him a couple of years ago. I should say a couple of decades ago.
Yeah,
but it's just not a thing. I mean,
unless
they win in them, then we have to conclude that they suck in the creamsicles, and it's partly the jersey's fault.
All right, partner, tell everybody how they can get all your great content on the Pewter Report.
We got Bucs Saints podcast tomorrow at 4:00 on Pewter Report TV, and along with another podcast at 4:00 on Thursday. So make sure you check out the Pewter Report podcast and all of our video content. I'll have a Bucs Brightside video out today, which will be longer than last week's because they actually won. And then you can find all that stuff on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. You can also check out our content at pewterreport.com, where I've got plenty of columns, and we have all of the breaking news and injury news and game analysis you're going to want to read. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Pewter Report.
Awesome stuff, Scotty. Thanks, man. By the way, your hair looks fabulous today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. I'd love to have you stick around for the next hour. Corey Long's going to join us. We're going to talk a lot of college football. Boy, our college football game is in a terrible.
Okay, let me ask you real quick before we go. Your thoughts on Jon Sumrall taking over with Florida and you guys being stuck with Mike Norvell? That's all I needed to hear.
I can say this, that neither one of us is happy.
Yeah, true.
Any Gator fan that's sitting there, and they tried to sell me on this last night, a bunch of them. Oh, well, we didn't want Lane. Shut up. Just shut up. Just because you got jilted, now she's a hoe. Okay.
The state of Florida football with having to go to outside of Power 4 conferences and find head coaches is kind of stunning, isn't it?
It's stunning.
Did Alex Golesh not want Florida? Did he prefer Auburn over Florida?
I don't know.
I think Golesh is a damn good coach.
Yeah, I don't know if Florida went after him.
Why not? Isn't that part of the problem?
Yeah,
isn't that part of the problem. He's right there, 2 hours south, and he's doing things with not a lot of resources at USF and winning and upsetting big time schools.
He beat you.
And he beat you. Yes. He came
Florida,
into the swamp and won. What are you doing, Florida? He's right there. He's
Florida
right 2 hours
away. They didn't even try to go after Alex Golesh, reportedly. They didn't even try to go after James Franklin. What do they do? Were they putting all of their eggs in the Lane Kiffin basket?
Oh, yeah. They thought they had him. Absolutely, 100%.
Wow.
It was why would he not come here? Why would he go to LSU over Florida?
Jimbo. Go get Jimbo.
That's how far the program's fallen, and that's unfortunate.
And we're stuck with Mike Norvell. But as I've said, and nobody wants to hear this, we're not stuck with Mike. I don't think he's going to be around very long.
You think he's going to opt out?
We'll see.
Okay.
It's very non-committal of JP, isn't it?
We'll see.
I trust JP when it comes to the Knowles. I don't think anybody's in Tampa more connected to JP. I haven't met him
he might be here next year. I don't know, but I know there's things in the works.
Yeah.
There's nobody at Florida State that wants to keep him on. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
There's reasons why he's still here.
Yeah.
And it has it's everything to do with money.
Sure.
But that may work itself out. We'll see.
Interesting.
We'll see.
There you go.
All right. Appreciate it, fellas. Have a great week. Thank you.
All right. As mentioned, Corey Long's going to join us for the whole entire hour. Second hour, we're going to talk a lot of college football. So USF fans, Florida fans, FSU fans, get your questions and comments in. We're going to talk some hockey, too, because he covers the Bolts as well for NHL.com. And, boy, we've been on a roll there. And we're going to try to get these sound bites in. Alex Golesh, Derek Brooks on losing Alex Golesh and what is next. Bill Cowher ripping Lane Kiffin. I'll tell you why he's wrong. All that coming up right here on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us. It's the holiday season, so come visit the wonderland of jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source with over 25 times the inventory and selection of the average jewelry store. Guys, get your shopping done early, and if you have no idea of the trends and styles that your lady wants, that's cool. The incredible staff, led by Julie and Steve Weintraub and family, will offer up some great ideas with no pressure. They offer everything for the first-time jewelry buyer to the most exquisite selection of museum-quality pieces. Enjoy a comfortable, relaxed atmosphere and experienced staff, geologists, jewelers, and designers for all your jewelry needs. From the luxurious jewelry boxes to their VIP customer care, there's many reasons to make sure it's a gold and diamond source diamond. Keep it local this holiday season. Shop online anytime at goldendiamond.com or just come by their showroom at 3800 Overton Road and always online at goldendiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Hey, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a great time for that Italiano Insurance checkup, folks. Just give them a call at 813-877-7799 and let them go through all your different insurance that you're paying right now, your homeowner's insurance, your flood insurance, your business insurance, your auto insurance. They can check it all. They represent dozens and dozens of companies, so you're not just dealing with one company. Let them compete for your business. There are a lot of companies coming into Florida in all these genres that are offering lower rates. And also, you may not be insured to the level that you need to be insured. They can answer all these questions and make sure you are right. They've been doing this for over 60 years here. It's a great local company, Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Just had someone sign up for their homeowners insurance and saved $700 on their annual premium. So that's real savings, folks. You could do it at Italiano Insurance. All right, I want to welcome in our good friend, Corey Long, who joins us all the time, writing for Fansided College Football and NHL.com. What's up, partner? How are you? Get your mic up right here.
I'm doing well, man.
I said, you know what? I need you to come in for a whole hour.
Yes.
Because this is just insane what's going on. And you, like me, have covered a lot of these programs for decades. We've seen it all. We've seen the heyday of college football and what this has become. And I'll be honest with you, Corey, this is my favorite sport, always has been. I'm truly concerned about where this is headed. And in terms of, I think we are really, really pissing off fans. And I know they're resilient and they're emotional, but at some point it gets just, it gets ridiculous. And I think we've reached that point.
Well, I mean, these were things that, we can go back to our days when we talked 15 years ago, 13, 12, 13, where I was, I would tell you, I said, there's a lot of, and I guess the words I used back then was a lot of people that were getting a lot out of college football that weren't putting a lot back into it. So, and
a good way to put it.
And, and there was
stealing money.
Yeah. Stealing money, basically. Yeah. I mean, whether it was, these random bowls that were drawing, 4,000 people and the way these guys were getting these major, how's a guy running the international bowl making $750,000 off of that game, take home money when it draws 2,000 people, because they're charging the bands, they're charging the schools. And it's like, this is not the way this is supposed to be. So eventually that sort of mentality is going to trickle down. And then you get into a situation where players became far more knowledgeable about realizing like, hey, there's a lot of money here that people who do nothing for this sport are getting. That money needs to come to us.
That's right.
And now it's coming to us. And, they in the process, they lost so much control. It's like, we can't do anything about the unlimited transfers. We can't do anything about, just all the different things. It's trickled down beyond college football. It's down into, amateur football, now into, prep football now. It's kind of ridiculous in general. So, yeah, I mean, this is the situation that we're in. They're going to have to figure out some things. I think there's certain things they can control, which probably means, if we want to stop things from happening like they just happened this past
Lane
weekend.
Kiffin,
Lane Kiffin, we're going to have to get rid of the early signing day, which is fun. A lot of kids enroll early anyway, so it doesn't matter. They graduate in December, they enroll in January, and it doesn't matter if the signing day is February.
That's right.
So if they're going to enroll early, they're still going to enroll early.
Right.
They did that before.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Just, you change the calendar a little bit and, schools aren't panicking to think we got to have some. It's like, no, you got to be here today. Sunday, signing day is Wednesday. You got to be here Sunday. No, you can't coach your team in the playoffs. No, you can't. And then, they're like, no, you can't deal with these kids for another year. Now you're taking half the offensive staff. And you notice ESPN isn't saying, oh, Ole Miss, I worry how good they're going to be without their entire offensive coaching staff that is. They're
not going to get the same treatment FSU got, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no,
they're not. Because they're in the SEC.
Yeah, Herb Street, who just wants to have discussions. He was already out there, jumping on, there's no way they can really punish Ole Miss. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
How is that different than the Florida State situation?
Yeah, and they'll say, well, we got to see Florida State a couple of times. You got to see them
win games.
The 14th ranked team, and you're just 6 points in about 100 yards.
Yeah.
And you're like, you can win games with defense. It's happened before.
Yeah.
So but that goes
So let's dig in on the Lane Kiffin thing. I want to play this from Bill Cowher. Timmy, if you're there, if you want to roll this is Bill Cowher on the Dan Patrick show yesterday. If Timmy's there, he may have departed.
Yeah. I'm here.
All right, let's play the Bill Cowher one, and we'll react to it. Because
what job offers or feelers did you get when you were with the Steelers? How often does that happen on an NFL level?
I never even entertained. I don't think it doesn't happen at all. I think when you're with a team like that, you're just trying to win year to year. You know, my fear of failure far exceeded my desire to win. I did not want to fail and get fired. I mean, that was always over the top of my head. I just knew it was results-oriented business.
One on Lane Kiffin, it may not be.
That's the one you sent me.
I know. I must have screwed that up. I thought this was about Lane Kiffin. Basically, and maybe, well, it's not. My bad. So basically what he did was rip Lane Kiffin for leaving and saying it's about building young men. It's about, seeing it through. And I get all that, but I think people are just kind of missing the business side of this. This has become a business. Yeah. The LSU job on any level is better than the Ole Miss job in terms of the chance to win a national championship. And that's why Lane took the job. It's a better chance to get to his ultimate goal of winning a national championship. I don't think there's any good way, given this calendar, that you can go through this process and not piss somebody off. And it sucks for the players and it sucks for the fans. What I don't understand is if the players wanted Kiffin to coach, and they did, and they voiced that to Keith Carter, and if Lane wanted to coach, and he did, to see it through, and Lane wanted this process to not affect him at all and do it after the season, but Ole Miss didn't want that. They wanted an answer now, and they gave him an ultimatum and then said, get the hell out of here. And I think it was 100% the wrong thing to do. I'm not saying it's a perfect situation, but he's going to leave anyway. Yeah. And the players that are going to go anyway. So why not see it through and win a national championship or get into a playoff? You've never been in a playoff. You've never gotten to the playoff. You have a good chance, I think, to win and advance. And if you do and you win a national championship, you have that forever. Those players have that forever. The fan base has it forever. And you just pissed it away because you got butthurt that he chose a better program than yours. And I think this is something that is rampant throughout fan bases, including Florida State, including USF and everywhere, is they don't understand the process of what's going on right now. I'm not saying you have to like it, but I think this went, I think he's being vilified. He's an easy target. Let's just be honest about that.
Oh, yeah, and he doesn't make himself any less of an easy target.
No, he doesn't. He
handles things. As I always say, he's really different than his father was. He's a very much different person.
Yeah.
I have to look at this from Keith Carter's standpoint of that he's trying to protect his program. He's trying to protect his university. He's trying to protect the integrity of what he's doing out there. And again, we have to understand you have a football calendar. You have a signing day that starts on Wednesday through Friday. You have a transfer portal day that I think begins on January 2nd. So if they're continuing to play games and he's continuing to have a coaching staff that's not associated with Ole Miss after they're done playing football, it is completely handicapping the next guy that comes in.
I agree.
So
that's next year.
Yeah, but that's kind of where he's thinking. Like, if I handicap this guy next year and I get him off and he's off on already just the wrong foot, can we recover? They're in the Southeastern Conference. Like, you don't have years to throw. You don't have years to throw in the ACC, as we're finding out right now.
But to what end? So you don't want him to be behind, right, in recruiting, because the ultimate goal is to what? Win a national championship, right? That's the ultimate goal.
Is to win a national
you are on the doorstep of that where you've never been before. This opportunity is in your lap, and you're pissing it away because you're not winning anything without your play caller and your head coach. Sorry, you're not.
I agree. Yeah.
You're saying, or we want to win a national championship, so we got to get you out of here. So where's the guarantee you're getting back to 11-1?
There is none. I mean,
it's likely you never will.
He's won. I mean, he's won as much as any coach has ever won there, and at least in my lifetime. I mean, 4 10-win seasons in 6 years at that school is pretty remarkable. And knowing the history of that school and how difficult a recruiting job it can be at that school. It's like as I tell people, Ole Miss didn't offer Walter Payton a scholarship because that's the way. Walter Payton.
I lived in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi, for 7 months, and this was back in the 80s. Granted, but that is the most racist place I've ever been in my life, and there's not a close second.
And here's the thing,
JP, I think I have the Bill Cowher audio if you still want it.
Yeah, sure. Let's listen to him rip Lane Kiffin.
Ask that question. Why would an AD let a coach who made a decision that he wanted to go to LSU and not stay at Ole Miss, coach my players and use my coaches and tell them for the next month why they should be joining him at LSU? Totally understand. I would just say thank you, Lane, and goodbye. And that being said, if indeed he decides to take other coaches with him, I would just say any player that goes to play for Lane Kiffin, just understand one thing. It's not about the program. It's about Lane Kiffin. Because he don't care about the players that he just went through a season with, a special season, players he's had for 4 years with an opportunity to go to the playoffs. He's decided to take them and not only leave them, which I get, okay, you want to do that, but now you're going to take offensive coaches with you and destroy the program. And deplete the program. Deplete the program and the dreams of these young men who you said that you want to be there and you want to do it with. But if I can't do it, I'm not going to let you do it.
That might not be what you were looking for.
It encapsulates what your thoughts.
I think it's a nice utopian thought there.
It's a great word.
And at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that probably happen behind the scenes. How comfortable is LSU with them continuing? I know what they say, but how comfortable are they really? Because
if he would have continued to coach at Ole Miss,
say if he wins a national title there, then why are you going to LSU at that point? You just proved you can win a national title at Ole Miss, So I don't like that it happened. I hate that he's not coaching his team. I hate the idea that I'm glad that
he hates it too. By the way, he wants to coach that team.
Does he get a ring if they win the title? I mean, they won't.
No, I don't even think he
doesn't get a ring, right?
He's not going to get. He's not going to get anything. Bro.
He's done.
They put his clothes out
on the street. I don't think they're mailing him a ring or anything.
That's how it should be.
And that's just, that's also, LSU was a rival of Ole Miss, so it's not only it's not just him leaving. It's him leaving for the other side of the Magnolia Bowl, something that both sides take very seriously. So at least Ole Miss takes it. I don't know if LSU takes it very seriously, but Ole Miss definitely takes it very seriously. So
I get the emotion.
But that's it. It's done with emotion. Right now, Keith Carter is probably as much playing to the boosters and the fans.
Of course he is, but that's not leadership.
He
even said it to Lane. He goes, I have to live in Oxford and take the heat. If I allowed you to coach and coach through, I think the fans, once they get over the emotion of it, I think they're going to say, man, we should have let him stay. What's the difference? He's leaving anyway. He could at least given us a chance to win. Look, coach, Ole Miss, you're not LSU.
But JP, in this environment, anybody is anybody. Who thought Indiana would be a menace? Like Indiana basically said, what basketball program? We're doing this football thing now.
We're not debating.
Vanderbilt just ran Tennessee off their own field.
I get that. But we're not debating whether or not they can do it. They can.
Anybody can do it now.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And I get that. But I think it's universally accepted that the LSU job has more resources, can recruit, to your point, can recruit black players, especially a lot better than you can at Ole Miss. And you're just leaving. And if I said to myself, if this were Florida State in Florida, and this coach said, I'm leaving to Florida, and if I was in that same situation, like, how would I feel? At first, I would say, get the hell out of here. And then I would go,
you would still say, get the hell out of here.
No, I would say, no. I wouldn't. I'm like, we got a chance to win. Are you kidding me? If you got FSU to 11-1 this year, and Mike Norvell, if he got that and said he was leaving for the Gators, I'd be like, okay, well, let's see how this turns out. Listen, if my hot ass wife, which I have, said to me, listen, you old mofo, I'm done with you, but you got a month left, I'd be like, sounds good to me. Let's go, honey. Let's have a hell of a month. Let's
been through this before.
You're going to leave anyway, so I might as well go out with a smile. I mean, it just I know I'm in the minority in this, and I'd love to stand up here and say you should stay and do what's right and integrity and all this stuff. I don't know.
There's just not a lot of honor among thieves.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to. There's
Yes.
not a lot of honor among thieves.
Yeah. I just don't think there's any good way to do this. But in the NFL,
the good way to do it is to get the calendar back to where this is not an issue.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to do. That's the one thing.
How do you do that?
You very simply say, you move the early signing period up to September, you get rid of it altogether.
Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
That's your start. Because again, kids that want to enroll early are going to enroll early. If you want to enroll in January, you graduate in December, you enroll in January.
That's right.
And you can recruit. Most of them do, and you can recruit like that and still be fine. So it doesn't like.
But how do you keep the carousel, the coaching carousel, from like Florida fires their Penn State fired their coaches early on because they wanted to get a jump on it, and they still got left out in the cold from the people that they actually really wanted to come take their program. All those other great coaches re-signed with their teams.
Yeah, and I think you give the coaches, and I think it's a good thing because I don't think you should be firing coaches during the middle of a season unless you're just unless it's just awful. Or, I'm sorry, Penn State, James Franklin earned the right to at least show that he could bring that thing.
Hell
back.
yes,
I look at Penn State now. I'm like, man, y'all should have hired James Franklin since you're struggling so much to get a coach in there.
Yeah,
and I mean, we could say a little bit less about Napier. He might have maybe that they felt like that wasn't going to work, but. What was the difference in firing him in week 6 and again, you didn't get the guy you wanted. And
exactly
by switching the calendar back, you're not worried about that so much. You're looking at Lane Kiffin saying, okay, Ole Miss is going to make the playoffs. He's going to play a game on the 20th. If they win that, he's playing a game. We've still got time. Like whatever happens, we've still got time. So let's let him go through his process. Then you could bring him in for interviews. You can really run a lot more of the NFL type of calendar when it comes to coaches because you've got those blocks of time where you can say, all right, the games are on the 20th, I think, 19th, 20th, then the 1st. Well, maybe we'll skip Christmas, but we'll say if you're between the quarters and the semis, you've got a 2-day block in there to do an interview, like the 5th and the 6th, or whatever. You've got a 2-day block in there to at least do Zoom interviews, do something telecom, so you can get contact people. So you can, go out there and get these things done. You don't have to announce anything,
right?
But you can get these things done.
That's fair. It's not that hard.
And I think it's better for coaches. I think it's better for coordinators. I think it just makes the job market a lot easier to navigate. Right now, it's not easy to navigate.
Let's just, and this new act that's going to be passed by Congress, the SCORE Act, is going to give college football, basically, as I understand it, an antitrust exemption. So they can create rules and not get sued by, people that want to, free access to work and
they're not winning any lawsuits right now.
Exactly. So that would allow them to do.
They're the Mike Norvell of lawsuits right now. They're not winning anything.
What it would allow them to do is create a system where they can say, coaches, we're limiting your buyouts to 10%. Okay, which needs to be done. We got to get rid of these ridiculous 85% buyouts. We're limiting that. You can, if you want to limit compensation, which I think you should, limit compensation head coaches and assistant coaches. You can do that if you want.
Absolutely.
If everybody gets together and does this, and let's start funneling the money back into the players and the other athletes instead of one guy walking away with $64 million for doing a shitty job. It's a really, really bad precedent. And you can do that. And you can do that if they pass this bill, which I think they will. But they need to. The question is, will they? Because the people that run this sport are the head coaches and the administrators who obviously don't want their compensation limited, but it needs to be.
Yeah.
It needs to be.
Because you can't you can't complain about the NIL if you're out there taking fully guaranteed buyouts and things like that. Like you have no room to complain because – you're not. You didn't get that $10 million, $12 million a year contract by yourself. I can tell you that much. It was due to the fact you had a lot of talent on that field, and those guys won football games for you.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think everything needs to be brought down a little bit. And I'm not because you should not be making NFL money in college. That's the whole point of going from college to the NFL is so you make the NFL money. Right? It's just that's just the way. Like, you shouldn't be making Microsoft money at the startup tech place. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
Like, it's just that's just what it is. So
what do you think of Sumrall at Florida? What do you know about him?
I know that he's he comes from a strong defensive mind, but he's also a guy that likes to have a good offensive guy around him. He likes scoring points. He loves the physical, explosive style of football. I liked his teams at Troy. I saw them a few times during bowl season. And, for him, it's really about hitting guys hard. It's about winning at the line of scrimmage. It's about really imposing your will on the other team. That's why I think Urban really endorsed him. There's a lot of similarities there with how they like to field a football team. Now, Urban liked to live on the edge. I don't know if Jon Sumrall necessarily likes to live on the edge like Urban did. It's not, as I say, it's not a bad thing as long as you can control it. But,
right.
Urban, unfortunately, at the end of his Florida tenure, Urban couldn't control that anymore. And when he got to Ohio State, they made sure that, we're going to keep somebody over you. So
you can't bring in every thug that you want to bring in.
You're not going to turn our school into,
Aaron Hernandez is shooting up people around here and getting away with it. That's the way
that's not happening in Columbus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So I think it was the best hire they could probably make at the time. I mean, they could have looked at Will Stein from Oregon. They could have looked at more the coordinator route. You got to think, like you said.
They didn't look at Golish?
I think they might have. The Golish thing is so funny to me. So, after the game, they asked him. He gives us like a 5-minute answer about word salad with the word process thrown in there at least 150 times.
He needs process.
He needs time to probably needs one. And I like, it's not a bad answer. He's not saying anything. But he's saying, I need time to talk. Auburn was like, you got 15 minutes, pal.
Process this.
Yeah, process this.
7 years, $6.5 million a year.
I like the contract structure, though.
Yeah.
I like the fact it's filled with a lot of incentives. And good for him. He's done a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what happens, and it's going to be up to Rob Higgins, I guess, and Derek Brooks to really, find another. Here's the thing: as bad as the power conference coaching market might have been, I think the G5 coaching market is really good. I think there's a lot of good coaches that USF will be an upgrade from where they are that have won at this level already. I mean, that could be Charles Huff, who's at Southern Miss, who also won at Marshall. That's a Nick Saban guy. That's a James Franklin guy that's, he was an assistant under both of those guys. He does well at Marshall. Something happened there. He leaves for Southern Miss, which is an awful situation.
Yeah, terrible.
I think he won the conference or finished second. He won 8 games this year.
Jesus.
So USF
that program was almost dead.
Exactly. He's 42 years old. That should be a guy USF should be talking to. I think Willie Simmons, bowl eligible at FIU in his first year, won 12 games in his final year at FAMU. That's a guy they should be talking to. Cade Bell, the offensive coordinator at Pitt, is someone I really like. Kerwin Bell's son, 36. He's got he runs a really good offense. I think there's a lot of good.
So he developed Hensel?
Yeah, that's his guy. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of good potential coaches out there.
Well, you've missed the obvious names that everybody's talking about.
Who's everyone talking? Don't tell. Go. I know you're going to say. You'll say it.
John Gruden. Come on, man. I could be your coach. The Bulls. Let's go, Bulls Nation. Let's go.
We're talking about the difference in the college football landscape these days.
I mean, but let's talk about it. It's on everybody's tongue. He's older. He won't leave us. He lives here.
You can't worry about if they're leaving you. They're leaving you because they're winning.
Right.
That's all you want. You want the win, and eventually they're not going to leave you because if you keep winning, you're going to be in a better situation as a program,
right?
Than you are than you were when Jeff Scott was here,
right?
So my worry is they've always compounded a good hire with a less than good hire. If you can look at this, you go from Levitt to Skip, who had one good year, then things started going in the tank. And then you go from Skip to Willie. And the minute Willie got that thing up, you brought in Charlie, who decided, I'm just going to, whatever's here is here, and I'm not going to get anything else. And then they brought in Jeff Scott, who.
It was bad.
I always say Jeff Scott, I'm always shocked at how bad it was.
I know, me too.
You're like, he was a great assistant at Clemson. He was probably their
great pedigree.
Probably their top recruiter, came from good stock, and in nothing, it just nothing went right. Never went right.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Travis Trickett, his OC, was the one who found Byron Brown late in the process. And it was like, I think Brown had some offers like, we can do better than that. Like this kid, is he 6'3", he's about 225, and he can run and he can throw a little bit. Like, we don't have any of those.
We can work with this.
We don't have any of those guys on the roster.
Yeah.
So, and now, speaking of making some money, Byron Brown, Play that market, buddy. Play that market. That market, you got 1 year left in college. That market could be very fruitful for him.
Is there any word that he would follow Golesh to Auburn?
I think everything's on the table, and it should be. When you're what, 6'4", 230 pounds, you run like
3,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards.
Everybody should want you, and I think he should be. I actually wrote for the FSU fan sided site that FSU should go all, if they want to show their fans that they're even trying to be competitive right now, they should go all in on him, because
absolutely
it just shows you, like, okay, even if you get him and say you just go 7-5, you can at least say we got one of the top quarterbacks on the market. We did what we did the best.
And we don't talk about this enough, because Norvell's failure to identify a good quarterback and sign him has been his biggest flaw, I would argue. He's got a lot. Yeah. But to me, that's the overriding one, because it's kind of important.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
And DJ and Castellano, the whole Castellanos and Gus thing from the very get-go, I'm like, what the F is this?
I'm not going to sit here. I think Tommy tried hard.
Oh, yeah.
Mediocrity tends to follow him.
Yes.
And that's
he's a 5'9" quarterback that can run, but can't throw worth a lick.
Yeah. And he says, I'm glad that he wants to come back. And the fan base like, no, we're good. We're good.
Unless you want to move the receiver. I think he's a hell of a runner.
Yeah. There's some things we could gadget you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's never really been a quarterback. He had Jordan. Jordan was here, and they did a very good job with Jordan, but Jordan wasn't his first choice.
No.
He came out there and ran out old Tate Rodemaker at Jacksonville State the year that they won, and they almost lost because Tate was about to give that thing up in the first 20 minutes. And they're like, this kid's bad. Yeah. We can't use him anymore.
He hasn't recruited and you would think, okay, so Jordan was here and some guys left that we recruited, but every guy that they've recruited has gone other places
and
done nothing.
AJ Duffy,
nothing.
Purdy,
nothing.
Luke Cromenhawk, I think, is third string at Mississippi
Nothing.
State.
Like, you can't identify good quarterbacks, and you certainly can't develop them.
Yeah. Well, there's so many issues there. Where do we unpack? I start with the staff. I think, how is this staff? How are there still guys that were there from 2020 still there?
I have no idea.
Means they got through a 2-10 season.
To your credit, you sounded the alarm the day that they hired Norvell, and then he brought the staff with him, and you're like, this staff has no idea how to recruit the state of Florida. They have no connections to the state of Florida. Like, what are you even doing?
And 6 years later, they still don't know how to recruit the state.
They still don't. Yeah.
And the scary thing is, the kids that they get from Florida, whether it's the Desir twins or Micah Danzy, those kids are their top performers.
Yeah.
And they don't maybe we should get more kids from these places.
You think?
Yeah. And instead, we got to be in Mississippi. Good Lord, if they don't get every mediocre kid out of Louisiana I've ever seen in my life. It's just like, these kids can't. If LSU don't want them, don't bring them.
Don't bring. These are simple concepts.
Yeah, like, it's not hard to recruit at Florida State. As I said, he's, someone said he's he's below average as a recruiter. Well, he's got he's getting top 20. I could bring in a high school coach and get a top 20 class at FSU. All I got to do is throw in the polo.
Yeah,
go to all the major places and say, hey, we're interested. Someone's going to say yes.
Yeah. At some, and the guys that they get, they don't develop. Every good player that they've had, over the last few years are guys that have come from other programs.
Well, the snub really exposed that. And we'll say, I thought FSU needed to be in the playoffs. I thought it was the largest bunch of BS that they were not in the playoffs. They earned it.
Yeah.
They earned every second of that. But all these guys opt out. You see, and I just actually looked at the depth chart from that game not too long ago. And what I saw were mostly second and third year guys that they recruited that they never spent a day of trying to develop. And they went out there and they looked like walk-ons.
Yeah.
They were not only slow, but they were small.
We were slow, but we were small.
Well, yeah. And you saw, and George didn't have that many opt-outs, but even when you saw him bringing in his second teamers, you're like, I want those guys too. Like, those guys need to be over here. Like,
well, that's what happens when you can recruit the portal. That means you're going to have, hopefully you hit on those guys.
Yeah.
But the guys that were behind them are gone.
Yeah.
So you have zero depth.
You have zero
depth. And then you bring guys in, you move them up the depth chart before they've ever played. And you've been working with a guy for 2 years that you recruited and just say, hey, sorry, you're third team now.
Yeah.
And you bring in a guy that's honestly not much better.
No.
And that destroys any type of team camaraderie that you have, because what's the kid saying? Like, I've been here 2 years. This guy ain't that much better than me. And then he immediately gets a start. Either I'm getting the hell out of here or I really don't give a crap.
They walk in, they treat them like, they end up treating, I'm just saying name, Squirrel White, who left Tennessee. It's like, he's going to be our wide receiver number 2. And you had young kids that could play. You had LaWayne McCoy in there. You had young kids.
Yeah.
I think Elijah Moore, if they ever put him out in the field, would be very good.
Yeah.
He was the top player in Maryland they recruited. And I'm sitting there saying he's probably going to end up transferring to Maryland or Virginia Tech and playing for Franklin, because they just decided they weren't going to give him any snaps.
Yeah. And they bring in a kid like Jerry Wilson, who doesn't want to play.
No.
And it thinks he's a pro already, doesn't want to get hurt, doesn't want to put his nose in there, doesn't want any contact whatsoever, turns it down as much as possible, and they keep putting him right back out on the field.
And then you see a kid like Shamar Arnaud, who goes out there. This kid's not bad.
Yeah.
If this kid would have played another 200 snaps this year, who knows what we'd have right now? And this is the thing. Like, at the end of the season, Norvell is trying to parade around all this young talent. He's got Desir holding the sledgehammer, like, say, hey, I got kids. I've been
where have they been?
You didn't want to do it. You don't want to have anything to do with these kids.
Yeah. So where is Florida State right now?
They're stuck on the treadmill. They've got a coach that I think they don't want to be there, that I don't think wants to be there.
No.
That it's strictly a financial relationship. They're trying to figure out what can we do to continue to keep him, to help him win games without him doing much of anything to that process.
Yeah.
It's just so weird to think that it's like, okay, we're going to bring in and all, we're going to, maybe they're going to keep their coordinators. Like, they already took that last year. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Gus Malzahn coaches the offense. Tony White coaches the defense. They're bringing in some of their guys. John Papuchis apparently coaches special teams, although we don't know if that happens anymore. And why is he another guy? Been there since 2020. Why?
Yeah.
Never done anything for you. Why?
Yeah.
So, and now we've got to go in and we've got to get rid of the GM that you had because he's terrible. We got to bring in a new guy. They're talking about bringing in Martin Mayhew. You think Martin Mayhew is going to work with Mike Norvell? He's going to make more. This is what we're going to do, and you're going to go along with it.
Yeah.
Like, Mark Mayhew is a very accomplished NFL executive. He's not going to college to go listen to what a coach that just went 7-17 in his last 2 years has to offer.
Well, good.
Yeah,
because they need a new person in charge.
Do you ever think, like, they went 2-10? You know how hard it is to go 2-10 at Florida State?
Well, and I think, I've put this out there last year, and I've talked about it this year, and I think it's starting to get a lot more traction. And I'd like to get your take on it. And it's kind of hard to talk about, frankly, but as I watch Mike Norvell over the last 2 years since the snub, he's not the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his interviews, he can't put sentences together. He seems broken, like mentally defeated. He's just not the same guy that was coaching this team. And I think there's, immense pressure in this job, clearly. And I don't think, have we ever seen a coach just kind of lose it? Not really that we know of publicly, but I just think this guy, I think he's mentally checked out. I think he's searching for authenticity that he can, and he's just not. I mean, when I watch him, even in these clips that you see in the locker room, it seems inauthentic. There have been reports of their players laughing at him when he's doing these, cliche-ridden hype speeches, and I think that's accurate. And I just think he's become a shell of the man that he once was, and I don't know if he wants to be there anymore. And because he knows nobody wants him there.
Yeah, and that's
his bosses don't want him there. I don't think the players want him there. And at some point, if you're Mike Norvell, do you just say, I need to take some time away? Let's negotiate a buyout, and we'll all just move on.
You do get the feeling there's some there's some angst like what Urban was dealing with at the end of his
career.
Like all this, and it wasn't the losing, it was just the stress of it. He had all this legal stuff. Like there was like when you look back on like, my God, this guy had so much chaos around him. Like, yeah, that was why he left, because this thing got too hard to handle. It's tough, and it's tough when you're not winning and you're in a place like Tallahassee, which we both love to see, but it's a small, you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
His kids hear it. His wife hears it. Like it is a strain on the family.
It's brutal.
It's a strain on the family. And, I look at it and say, a Memphis job is open. Would he go back there? He'd probably leave tomorrow if he felt like, if he could figure out a way to do it and it made.
Would they have him?
Probably. They love him there. I think they like him there. And I think he can still win. They're like, I don't think he's a coach that can't win football games somewhere. I was very much in favor of USF taking him to replace Willie. I thought he'd been a wonderful hire for them at the time when Willie left in 2018.
Yeah, it was just a different dude. He's just not that guy anymore.
And a lot of it is also the things that we thought were kind of cute. They're not cute anymore. Him racing players in practice when you're 2
looks
and
like
10,
buffoonery.
Yeah, it looks buffoonery. This whole huddle around me at half, it just looks demonstrative. It looks like a joke. It does. I'm sure kids have long since checked out of, we're doing this dumb.
Well, that's clear.
We're doing this dumb shit again. He's got to bring them around. We got to hang her. Okay, fine. We're gonna walk in. We're gonna play complimentary football. Okay, and it's just
brutal.
And the unhinged press we had a couple of weeks ago, or it's gonna make people mad. And it's just like, is this guy serious?
It was. When I watched it, I was like, oh wow. That's like I've been talking about him mentally being out of it, and I like that was like a rant of a desperate person that
it's also
that has no answers.
And it's also tough. He's 44 years old. He's a really young guy, and they have taken away like we don't want you to coach anymore. Like they're saying, we don't want you. We really don't even want you to recruit anymore. You're not good at that. We want to figure out how to structure this thing so you show up, do the press conferences, you show up for the games, hopefully the team wins, and you talk about how they won. And that, like, Bobby was doing more than that in his final years. Like,
True.
And he just, unfortunately, over 6 years, even with with 2 very good seasons, frankly, you just haven't built up enough cachet. It's just not enough. Like Jimbo didn't build up enough cachet. He won 79% of his games.
Yeah, Michael LaRue says, would you rather have Mike Norvell's FSU record 38-33, 22-26, or Jimbo Fisher's FSU record 83-23 and 30-17 in ACC play? If Jimbo will work for free, I would do it. I don't understand why people don't get that this is not the same Jimbo Fisher. This is not the same FSU program. The cupboard is not stocked. There's a lot that needs to be done. Jimbo failed at Texas A&M, not to mention the way he left here. I want no part of it, but there's a large part of Seminole Nation that keeps looking at these records and going, ooh, he can do this again. It's
What I have to understand is that Jimbo had a 3-year head start. He comes in as the OC. He's allowed to bring in, I think he brought in Dawsey, Trickett.
Yeah.
And eventually brought in James Coley as well. So he had, he not only did he had an offensive staff with him that all thought like him, that recruited like him. They were able to get 3 years of recruitment in, at least on one side of the ball. And, they were able to fix the defense pretty quickly. You bring in a program changer like Jameis Winston, and it really had some great quarterbacks. I mean, they all were first-round picks. That first group, EJ Manuel was his
Ponder.
guy. Ponder was the one that he actually, was the one that he actually inherited and, turned him into a first-round pick. And obviously Jameis comes in, and even, I even thought DeAndre Francois was fine until he got hurt.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And, then you look at the gears with, they went to the Cotton Bowl with Sean McGuire. Yeah. I thought I still say it was one of the best teammates you could ever have, because that guy stayed. Like, you talk about a kid that was loyal to a program.
Good God.
He gets to start, and they bring in Francois. He's back on the bench. And I remember, if you remember that Showtime series, how Dalvin Cook said how much respect he had for Sean McGuire, that he was just there. Yeah. He was always there. He was the best teammate he'd ever had. And I'm like, that's just amazing. Like, that's just like, kids, you don't build kids. Like kids aren't made like that anymore.
So you don't think Jimbo can just reignite that magic?
No, nobody can. Do I think he'd come in here and he'd bring in a good staff? Yeah. Do I think he could recruit better? 100%. It still takes time. And unfortunately, the patience isn't what it was. Like if Jimbo comes in there next year and somehow he manages a 7-5 season, no one's talking about the 7 games he won. You're worried about the 5 games he lost.
Yeah.
Because that was always the thing with Jimbo. Even when he was winning, he was worried about he can't, and maybe, and I think what it is a lot of fans maybe realizing, okay, maybe we're a little tough on it. He was obviously very much standing on the table for we need this facility. We need these things to compete with Clemson. And he was he was right. Yeah, he was right. He was getting swiped away. And, a lot of that, Stan Wilcox and others can be blamed for that.
Yeah,
those were guys that he couldn't stand.
Yeah.
And when Monk Bonasardi passed away, there went the median between him and those guys.
Yeah.
Now he had to deal with those guys, and he didn't like them. He couldn't stand them.
Yeah.
And he made it clear he didn't like them, and he didn't think they were good enough, and he didn't know what they were doing.
He was right.
Yeah. Whereas he could tell that to Monk, and Monk would go over there.
He didn't go about it the right way, I would think, but he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong. So I don't know where FSU goes again. I don't think their next coach might be taking the Kentucky job today, or might be doing their next coach might not even be a head coach right now. It's just it's
limbo.
Yeah, they got to figure out how many years they can do this. What happens? What can we do possibly to not have a losing record next year? Because the schedule's really hard. Well, we already dropped Notre Dame for New Mexico State. So, okay, switched out a probable loss for a probable win.
Notre Dame dropped us.
Somebody dropped somebody. Somebody dropped somebody.
Yeah, then we wanted Notre Dame to fill the stadium because New Mexico's not doing it.
Yeah, but you get that week 0 game now. You get apparently you're going to get a Labor Day game against SMU before you play Bama. So how do we not go 1-1 into Bama? How do we get those first? Just simple things like that. How can we just get a little bit of momentum? Because the schedule's going to be hard. It's going to be harder to get. It's going to be probably harder to get to 5-7 next year than it is this year. I mean, but there's just a lot there because you're replacing so much. Your top 6 offensive linemen all came in for 1 year. They're all gone. Assumably, you're going to replace the quarterback. I think you've got some good young wide receivers.
Is Gus gone?
Maybe. I mean, but unless he's going to retire. The offense, we knew what we were getting with Gus.
Right.
He is very statistically motivated, which means he is going to run up ridiculous numbers on bad teams, which he did. If you look at those numbers against Kent State and East Texas,
against ACC opponents and others, it was awful.
Yeah, cannot execute in the red zone. Which the biggest thing might be the strength program.
Yeah, I agree.
I just they're not like you saw them compared to Florida.
No, it's an ass kicking.
Yeah,
and they're not physical. They get beat at the point of attack. Soft. Very soft.
If you really had to do one thing, you gotta because here's the thing: if you would just line up and play big boy football every now and then, you at least beat Stanford.
Yeah,
you probably go in there and beat NC State. That's two different. You
can't even do that.
You can't do that. You can't. You can't do anything in the red zone. Like they're fine in between the 20s when they can. Castellanos can run around and do some flash plays, and they can throw up a 50-50 ball to Deuce who can body somebody, but. Once you get inside the 20 in that space,
you got to execute.
You got to execute. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to run a trap play for 6 yards. You got to be able to put yourself in good position.
Make a tight window throw over the middle.
Yeah,
which ain't happening.
Ain't happening with Castellanos.
That's for damn sure.
So you can't do those things. So I think right now, one thing is strength program. Like to me, that's the biggest thing. Is you got to get your team football strong, and that means you've got to make some major changes there because they've been. Again, Josh Storms, they're strengthening it. He's been there for 6. How are all these guys survived a 2-10 season?
Terrible.
This is what I get. How did he after 2-10? Like, I'm gonna change coordinators. I want to keep a lot of these other. No, all of them
clean
can go.
house.
All of them can go.
Yeah.
You should be the only guy left standing after that.
And the only reason is what we owe you. Did we not talk about some of the other candidates for USF, and specifically our good friend Anthony Becht, who I think is a really good candidate for this job. What do you think about his credentials?
I think his credentials. I think he's solid. I think there are a lot. Like I said, I think it's a really have the opportunity to do what UCF had the opportunity to do last year and screwed it up. Like last year, that UCF job, a lot of people really wanted it. And they decided, they're going to run this Scott Frost thing. Like, that's a bad idea, guys. This guy's not a winner anymore. This guy, whatever mojo he had 7 years ago, that is gone. Nebraska took that away from him. USF's got to take your time with this, because this is presumably going to be the guy that you bring into the new stadium. Yep. That's going to help you finally get over the hump in the American Conference. That can help you possibly improve your conference situation if you're able to do that as the next group of expansion, as the next row of expansion comes around. If we do go to a super conference situation and they do cut this thing down, maybe you're one of those.
They're going to be on the bubble.
Yeah, you're going to be one of those teams. So it's really important that you hit on this hire, because the only reason they're still in the American right now is not because they didn't win. They didn't win at the right times.
Right.
Like, they had the wrong guys at the wrong time. When UCF made the move up, they were coming off of 11-win, 12-win seasons, and USF, that was the time they were 2-win, they were whatever Jeff Scott's horrible records were. And if it had just happened 2 years earlier when Quentin Flowers was out there, they were the one in the Big 12. That team. Yeah, I agree. So you got to hit on this hire, knowing what's coming ahead, knowing that 2030 is right around the corner, and that you're going to have the stadium. You're going to have the infrastructure. I think they've got the right guy leading them in Rob Higgins. So it's just about
Derek,
just about making the right hire.
And Anthony, having worked in the XFL, UFL, that situation I think is very analogous to what's going on right now in college football. It's going towards professional, which he has a lot of experience, obviously, as a player, a coach. I think he would be a really, really good fit.
I think he'd be a great fit. I really do. I like him a lot. I've always liked Anthony Becht. I'm a Jets fan, so I've always liked, obviously.
And if Byram leaves, maybe he brings Rocco with him. I don't know.
But you still.
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk. Yeah, we know Byram's been great, and it's just a business. I cannot blame him for anything to decide. If he decided to stay, it'd be wonderful. But he's earned the right to, if he wants to go look around now that the coaches, he's earned that right, because he's given a lot to USF and he's helped bring this program back to a respectable place. So,
all right, before you get out of here, since you write for the Lightning for NHL.com, I at the beginning of the season, I was like, they're not going to be this bad, obviously, the whole year. But I'm a little concerned, about where this is headed. And boy, have they freaking turned it around, and they're doing this without McDonough and Hedman and Chernak, with guys, the great Santini, Declan Carlisle. I mean, what? And the goalie is just insane.
What did Vasilevsky say the other day? The defense is very Syracusean. But here's the bigger thing. They're not getting anything from Braden Point yet.
I know.
Like, Edouard Diaz-Stewart has as many goals as Braden Point does.
That's crazy.
And they're like, so first of all, Brandon Hagel is in another, him and Kucherov. That is the
and Sorelli,
that's the collaboration we did not know. That was like me watching Jack Black and Eminem on this is a collab I did not know I needed in my life.
Right.
Like, I did.
Wow, this is really good.
The minute that I'm like, oh, Jack Black, I kind of like him. Sounds good. Wow, this is amazing.
Yes,
Please, you guys, go in the studio, drop an album tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah, this
way better than Bad Bunny's going to be. That's for damn sure. Yes.
So yeah, it's I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there like, Hagel, this guy is on a heater, and Sorelli's been awesome, and they have been carrying, and that's what you want your stars to do in times like this, when they're a little banged up, when things are. But I also like the way the guys in the back lines are playing. I love, Holmberg's in there. He gives you something. Obviously, Douglas is in there. He's trying to be physical. He's out there trying to be, Nick Paul comes back. We starting to see him do, he's starting to get back to doing the Nick Paul things. Like, I'd like to see more out of some guys. You'd like to see a little bit more out of Bjork Strand, maybe. I think he's got more to offer.
Yes, much more.
But
Gonsalves had a nice big moment the other day. That was nice.
I think, maybe they realize Gonsalves might not be a top 6 guy, but he certainly is showing you that you can put him in different spots in the lineup. He's going to give you what he's got. Dominic James,
I love that kid.
Love him. And it's funny because this has been a team that for the better part of the last decade has not had a lot of high-profile draft picks, but somehow they've done a very good job of developing their play. Development, Mike Norvell. They've done a good job.
You're allowed to do that? Make them better?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, we wonder, why are these guys in Syracuse for so long? They're longer than they need. But that's why, because when they come into they're able to execute what they need to do. And it's about time John Cooper gets some recognition with the Jack Adams Trophy, I think.
You think?
I mean, I can't imagine him doing a better coaching job than he's done right now. And this is a guy that's won 2 cups and played for 2 more and played for about 7 conference championships. Yeah. But I think right now this is as good as he's ever been as a coach.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Hey,
it was fun.
For having me. This
is appreciate
time.
It. Yeah.
I wish we could have been talking about FSU, USF winning the conference and maybe getting into the playoffs. And
it was right there.
It was
right there. Yeah. But they're in a good spot. USF's in a good spot, and they have a chance to really do something big. And we'll see. We'll see where they go with this hire. Hey, Rob, welcome to the world of pressure cooker.
Yeah, this is what you're here for.
Don't F it up. It's all great. All gas, no brakes. Don't F it up. Don't F it up. All right. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Corey Long. Thank you, Timmy. Appreciate you, my friend. And all. I'm sorry we kind of ignored our all the commenters today. I apologize for that. We'll get back to you tomorrow. Great stuff as always. We appreciate you guys. Coming up at 12:30, the Big O Show. He is here in studio, so we'll be talking some baseball. What are we talking about, O? What are we talking about? Just yell it out.
Let's talk what the Rays' needs are. Let's talk about the discrepancy of the Japanese league average salaries to the major league.
Really? Okay.
Dramatic.
All right. We got stuff to talk about. Rays, Japanese players coming over, going to make another big impact and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to all our sponsors. We really appreciate Riveters, Italiano, Golden Diamond, On-Site Construction, Third Generation Plumbing, Cafe Paradiso, Genesis of Tampa, and Kingmakers and the Jeeves Law Group. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. All righty. Corey Long, Orestes Destrada. Oh,
I've seen you a few times around the Rays.
You got an offensive line ready to go right now. You got any eligibility left, boys?
I got a little bit.
I don't have any knees left, but you don't need. I'll just die once.